Hello everyone and welcome back to Eve's Market, a weekly look at the amarr market. I saw the CSP had another Plex sales, so probably Plex may go down this week again in price. It started in the beginning of the week that there was a Plex sales coming up again, so probably has been dropping down. We're sitting by the way close towards the heading for the Sunday in Eve time at least. It's like 9 minutes for that, so you're gonna see a little bit. It's a little bit on the wrong time for me then to record it, but we'll see. Local is going crazy with Plexus. It looks like it. Yes, but we'll start off with titanium. Well, where's my sheet? There's my sheet. There we go. Got to put up. That's a really bad data. Of someone bought it for 240 per unit. Some titanium. Let's look at 239 per titanium. That's a really bad buy. And the lowest price for today at 0.01 is. That's a big difference between those. So average price still 5.45 for today. That's the average price. I cannot really tell here on the sheet. Because at this point here I cannot say from which way it's going. I can't. Not possible to see. If I look then quickly take the table. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8. It looks like we pretty much stayed a little bit on the same price compared to last week. It looks like it has dropped a little bit in the middle of the week and then slightly went up on the end of the week again towards the weekend. So that's what is done this week, what I can see here on this graph, because the only way to see it at the moment. We'll take a look at the data itself then. 5.63 for the sellers, 5.40 for the buyers. That's slightly higher than last week. 5.27 was last week's price. Titanium is slightly going up in price again. It's not really in a hurry, at least, but a small increase. But then again, that's only 3 orders here that are a little bit higher. And then we can go quickly down to 560. These are not really big sizes, so price can drop pretty quickly here to 517, and then we will definitely be lower again on that. So yeah, there's just a few that really badly want the titanium in. Then we look at ferrite. Also ferrite is still dropping. Well, there's a slight uptrend here on the Saturday, on the Friday and the Saturday. Because this is still Saturday in Eve. But this thing, you can see already that today we're sitting slightly higher than, slightly lower, excuse me, than the Friday. So it is starting to drop in price. But it is already dropping for a pretty long time. But it seems to be definitely starting to slow down on the drop in price. So I think we're pretty soon gonna hit a bottom price for ferrite. On that case. 9.68 for the sellers. That's by the way not in amarr. It is in amarr, but a different station, or else you're gonna be paying 9.77 in the trade hub for ferrite. For the buyers, 9.51. That's an uptrend in price, so definitely gonna see that the price is probably at its lowest point. But also here you see 2 orders sitting up at the 950s. If those 2 get fulfilled, we drop into just above the 9 is per unit, and then we're gonna get lower. So there are a few people that seems to be really want some minerals in quicker and putting up a high price. So for now, at the moment, price went up compared to last week. 9.60 was last week's price. So that's an uptrend in price for ferrite. Probably see more in things also that were going up in price. Of course, there are just some people that really badly want us in. So then we go for Maxlon. See what Maxlon is doing. Also really bad data point here. Going down here, 7,357 was the highest price for Maxlon today. Wow, that's high. But if I look on the average of this week, it's about 7 days down. It's here, that was about the last week's price. Yeah, we're pretty close to it. So about 60, 70, went slightly up, went a bit down, stayed for about 3 days around the same price here on the higher side. On the average price, we're staying pretty much around the same, except for the last 2 days. We're staying definitely in suddenly above the 70 ISK per unit. Even for the Friday, you can clearly see that the price is starting to go up a little bit on Maxlon on this graph. That's what it looks like. I cannot tell here what it is doing because of this guy that bought it in for a really high price or put them buy or not wrong. You may can see that 7357. No, he bought it wrong. So Maxlon seller's price. That's a pretty decent amount of orders up. 75.60 for the sellers. For the buyers, 70.68. Really close together these prices. Hardly no margin. Well, basically it is no margin for it on that side. In that case. But Maxlon is going up in price compared to last week. Last week's price was 67.01, but now it's 70.68. Went pretty quickly up in price. Last week's price was sitting right here, so a lot of few new orders has come in on that price, and we're starting to go up in price for that. I think this one will also go up on the next week. Ooh, and this is a new record price on the high side for Maxlon. This is a really high side since the beginning of 2015. The record highest price was 68.06. Was the highest price. Right now it's 70.68. So Maxlon is at a record high price, and it's still pretty good in demand. But if these get fulfilled, it will drop pretty quickly down on price. So new record price for Maxlon on the high side. So it is currently really expensive. Then we go on for oxygen. Oh, my wallet is flashing again. Switch to oxygen. Oxygen has still been dropping this week. We've seen a few points that is trying to get up in price, but you can see straight away the next day it's starting to drop again. You can see everywhere here these points trying to go up in price. It's only happening for 1 day that the average price is lying a lot higher. After that it is straight going back down on price. But you can clearly see the price is starting to go slightly up. Compared this week here, these days here, all here, we're sitting definitely on the 5-day average on a higher price. Yesterday on the Friday we did drop again a little bit in price, back towards this old one here. We can clearly see for the Sunday we are back up high, so it looks like we're hitting a bottom point on the price. We are already pretty low on price for oxygen. If we look even at the 6 month, it is at its lowest, and at the 1 year chart we are really at its lowest price. I think we're even gonna get a record here, if it looks like it, for today on the price for oxygen. But you can clearly see price is more and more often trying to get higher, so I'm definitely gonna see we're pretty much at the bottom point. For the sellers, 86.16, again wrong station. In the trade up itself it's 86.57 ISK per unit for oxygen. For the buyers, 81.32 is the buyer's price. Last week it went even slightly up because it's only let's see, a little bit lost on the prices. Alright, there we are. Yeah, because of these orders are up. Last week's price was 81.02, so it definitely went slightly up in price. Not a huge amount, but it is slightly higher. We did not break the record. We are really close of breaking the bottom price record since the beginning of 2015 for oxygen, but it is just not getting there again. It's close, it's close. The record bottom price, by the way, for oxygen is 80.11. So if these orders get fulfilled, we will see a record price on the low side. So really keep an eye on oxygen this week if you need some. it is getting really low on price at the moment. Then Oxygen is wow, and this is really going all over the graph here. Uh, the highest price being 470 and the lowest price being below 420. You have 417, 418 around it. But it's really going all over the place. I've seen suddenly here from huge drop down here this week. It's been pretty low between the 420 and 425 for this price for the auction. Then suddenly for Thursday and Friday. Is this already the Sunday? This is probably already the Sunday because the sales amount are really low. So this is the Saturday, this is the Friday. Friday we're sitting Sunday at the 440, quickly going up with about 15 up. Saturday is now no real data available because we just landed in the Sunday. So then it's given on the same data. So and for today we're sitting Sunday high. It's Noxium is really all over the place. It's not stable, it doesn't have a fixed price. You really need to be lucky to get it cheap in or sell high on that. Prices for it 447.97 for the sellers, 405.27 for the buyers. That's a lower price than last week. 418.32 was last week's price, so definitely a good drop on that price. And it's a new record bottom price since the beginning of 2015 for Noxium. Record price was 406.39, so we have beaten that now with just over 1 ISK per unit on a record price for Noxium. So Noxium also really low on price. So we have at least 2 minerals that are pretty low on price currently, Isogen and Noxium. Well, Maxilon is only really high in price. But then again, we're gonna look at the next one. That's gonna be Zynuit. Zynuit is pretty much still dropping in price. It's trying again here to go up in price. Sales amount seems to be increasing slightly for here and there a few days, but not really too much. You can clearly see here it's for 3 days it was trying to go up in price, but then suddenly for the this is probably the Saturday. Sunday disappeared. There's no sales on the Sunday yet. On the Friday, you can clearly see a little bit higher sales. Prices dropping back down again on Zynuit price. So Zynuit is staying pretty much between the range of 1,150 and 1,250. Still sitting in that range for pretty much this whole week, except for the Thursday here. Pretty decent amount of orders up on sellers. 1,280.98 for the sellers. For the buyers, 1,174 for the buyers. That's a pretty decent drop this week on the price for Zynuit. Last week price was 1,241.06, so it has a decent drop in price for that. So it's about a quick guess 1,500. I will remove the data from last week. It's a good 500 drop quickly on. No, not a 500. That's wrong. About a 70 drop on price for Zynuit. It's a pretty decent drop if you see. If you look at the price here, this is pretty decent size, good size order up. It's a pretty small order up. They're both in the 1,174s. But if these two get fulfilled, we're gonna quickly drop to 1,150. And that's a pretty big drop on that price for that then. So Zynuit probably gonna stay around this or lower. You really need to pick the right day to buy it or get it in. If you would buy it, I'd probably put it in around 100, around this price, and just a little 1 cent higher. I'm not gonna beat these guys. That's not what I should do. Put it on that price, see if other people start beating these guys on the price. If they're gonna do it, more price gonna be up for this, then I will put my price higher. But that's what your choice is, how bad you're gonna need it. Then we go on for Megasite. Whoa, alright, Megasite has made a pretty big drop this week in price. Well, last week we're sitting around this price here, around the 1400 on the buys, and then we suddenly make a pretty big drop towards the 1300. We didn't reach it. 1300 looks like 1320, 1330, where we hit 1310 more. 1310, 1320. A few days it tried to get up higher, but it didn't work out. This straight away dropped down again. That's the Sunday, no sales yet. This is the Saturday, Friday. Friday sitting at 1400. Thursday sitting around the 1325. Thursday and Wednesday suddenly again more towards the 1450 even. It's jumping out a lot, but on average it's dropping. The 5-day average is going up, but it's mainly because of these two sales here that the 5-day average is going up. You can also pretty much see in the graph slightly going up in sales, high sales, drop. Then it going a little bit up in sales, and then again a drop on sales, going up again, small drop, and then another drop, and then probably see another graph slowly going up in sales, and then again a drop. That seems to be happening. It's pretty clearly you can see that's happening here. Next week prices for Megasite, yeah, not really, no idea what it's gonna do. It can go both ways, up and down. Just gonna look at the data. Seller's price 1400 flat. That's a pretty low set price for that. Then for the buyers we're sitting at 1204. That's a pretty low price for Megasite, I must say. As last week price was 1426.11. It's a decent drop on that for Megasite. It's no record prices. It's not even near any bottom prices. Probably not gonna reach it anytime soon. But that's a decent drop on that price. The last mineral is Morphite. Please you to shut up. Chat probably will not shut up. Especially Morphite, gonna be a little bit interesting to see. It is definitely still dropping. See huge sales here, bigger sales here. Surprisingly, sitting for 3 days around this price here, just above the 12,000 per unit. Well, that's the Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Well, we're sitting below the 11,000. So it looks like Morphite is suddenly starting to make a jump up in price for a moment. It could be for a short period, and then it's going down again. But it can also go up. So it can go both ways. No idea which way it's really gonna go. I'm hoping more like it's gonna go down because it is sitting currently at a real hard price. If look at the one that chat and look at the graph that we had here. 4 more fights. It's just a huge amount. The market completely crashed. But we are definitely heading back to a normal price. You can also see here just before that, for a few days in a row, huge sales, but make this huge spike for more fight. And now we're going back down towards more of a normal price. I think people are just trying to crash the market because it was going down so a lot. It's gonna get less and less worth it to mine it. But we are heading towards a normal price. I also think definitely on the next week we may see a little bit more of a drop on this price. 12,110 for the sellers, 9,902 for the buyers. Clearly lower than last week's, but that was 12,110. 110, no, 010. 010 even. So that has dropped pretty good in price on that. So that were the minerals. Let's take out some regular salvage here from this region. Let's look at armor plates. Those, wow, made a huge drop here. That was already last week. They made a pretty big drop on price. Let's see. This is the Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. That was last week's prices here. It was already a pretty big drop. This is starting to recover slightly again, but it's doing this already for a pretty long time. See, drops, going up, drops, going up, drops again. So we may see a slight increase in price for a short period then, and then we're gonna see another big drop in price for armor plates. That's a chance that we're gonna have. It may even not do it, but we'll see what's that gonna do it. If it's going up slightly and then gonna drop down again, we'll probably see that next week what it's gonna do. Pretty decent orders up on the top. 12 is over 12,000. We wish. 72,122 for the sellers and 64,100 for the buyers. That's an 8,000 margin between those, but prices can pretty rapidly change here on armor plates. Last week's price was a lot lower, so we went up in price. Last week's price was 57,250. So that's a pretty decent increase on that price. Last week's price was sitting around here even. Then burn logic circuits, as I already saw quickly, there is a shortage on the market. Beginning of the week we seem to have a slight drop in the price there. Towards the 52,000 and towards the 50,000, but then again straight away recovered again up above the 54,000, starting to go up. We did see a pretty short glimpse on the market. It seems to have a shortage on it, but we see already prices staying at 68,000 for the Sunday on average now. The amount of sales for today is already over the 10,000 units, 10,500 units, with a pretty big average price on that. So we're probably gonna see an increase in price for burn logic circuits on the upcoming week. You can see there are not too many sellers on the market. This is really gonna push the price up on that. We're sitting around the 68,000 per unit currently on the sellers. Really high price. For the buyers sitting at 58,000. Pretty sure that went up. It definitely went up. Last week's price was 52,000. So we went pretty quickly up in price for this. It's now at 58,000 per unit. I'm definitely gonna expect this one to start going up on the next week. Friday interface circuits. We already had a pretty record price on the last week on the bottom, and we see even this week, after pretty stable 3 weeks, we suddenly see a huge drop in price. Sunday sitting around the 1500 per unit. We even crossed 1,000 per line. Looks out on 750 per unit. It's a really low price. Here between one day it suddenly went up for 2,500 very shortly. After that straight back to the 750. It's been sitting there for 3 days on that. I think definitely gonna see more of a drop in the next week on the price for this. It is really low on that. Well, maybe not, because I see already some higher orders up towards the 1,500 on that. Seller's price 2,250 for the sellers. For the buyers we're sitting at 1,500. It's slightly above it. Still, it's a lower price than last week. There was 2,537. So we still have a drop in price for the Friday interface circuits. And 1,500 record price. It's more than 1,000 lower than the record price from last week even, because we had already a record bottom price that week. And now we're sitting at 1,500, so we have another drop on the price for that. And a new record bottom price for the Friday interface circuits. If this keeps on going, we might even see another record price next week. But we'll see that then. Melted capacitor consoles is really still not really interesting to watch. Sitting pretty much the whole week flat just below the 7,500. Really this one, there's nothing to report about. Just now and then a small jump up, but sitting pretty much flat at the same price. 8,098 for the sellers. For the buyers we're still sitting at 7,402 on that price. It is a very slight drop compared to last week's price. That was 7,440. So it's a very small drop on that price. Then trip power circuits has been going further down this week. well, it's looks like it is slightly starting to go up depending on the buyer's price. The graph still says the 20-day average we are still dropping in price. The 5-day average starting to flat out a little bit more around the 16,000 per unit. We see a highest price towards the 16,500, lowest prices around 15,750 on those prices, but it can really go both ways on the next week. I think it's starting to flat out on the price. To take a little bit bigger graph for it, we are already going down for like at least 6 months. Yeah, about a year ago we was crawling up in price, hitting pretty high prices here. Dropped a bit, dropped again. Then we was a little bit unstable, high lows, and then we started to definitely go down. Small stabilization was around the 18,000 around here, ups and downs, and then we started to go even further down. I think we're gonna see next week, on the upcoming weeks, more of a drop in the price for trip power circuits. 20,900 for the sellers, that's more than 500 units. Because we have a few ones that are not more than 500 units. Then for the buyers, sitting at 15,900 per unit. That is slightly higher than last week. 15,612 was last week's price. So it definitely went up in price, and this means no record price on this one. Then we have the last look at Plex. Like I said, CCP has started another Plex sales. We can clearly see also the effect on it here. Suddenly here a drop in price. Definitely on the Friday we see a lot lower price compared to the Thursday. Thursday we're sitting just below the 910 million, and then suddenly for the Friday we're sitting even below the 880 million. So that's already a quick drop of about 30 million is per unit per Plex on that. And for today we're sitting even low. So expecting again the Plex price starting to drop a little bit more in the upcoming week because we have another Plex sale. For the sellers, 919.9 million is for the sellers. For the buyers, in 863.7 million is per unit. That is a lower price compared to last week's. Last week's price 894.8 million ISK. So we have another drop here on those prices. No record prices. It needs to drop for another 30 million ISK for getting a new record bottom prices. So for this week we have Maxlon with a record price on the high side. Really high price, try to avoid that one from buying. Noxium has definitely a very low price this week, broke a new record since the beginning of 2015 on the low side. And then we have armor plates and flight interface circuits, also these two new record prices on the bottom for the buyers. So this was this week's look at the amarr market. If you really like the video, please press the like button down below. It really helps me out to get more viewers on this, and to help me out to get bigger. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week again when we're gonna take a look at the amarr market. Fly safe.